Hi, my name is Jessica, and I'm a leadership and change coach for professional women. And this week's Smart Women and video blog is called Smart Women and Decisions. So we make decisions all the time, and the reason I want to focus on that is because decisions have a huge impact in the trajectory of our lives. So focusing on how we make decisions is really helpful in creating the career or the life balance or situation we're looking for. So I thought I'd start with Tara Moore's two ways of thinking available to us. And Tara Moore is a women's leadership and coach and speaker. And she talks about the inner critic way of thinking versus the realistic thinker way of thinking. And she describes the inner critic as someone who focuses on lack or tends to think about what won't work or how things aren't possible, is really self-critical, thinks in terms of black and white, so it's either this or it's that, and it can't be both, and overall speaks in an anxious tone. And in contrast, she describes the realistic thinker, which is someone who's able to navigate gray and hold ambiguity. So both this can be true and this can also be true. So I might not have the career I want yet. However, I'm taking night courses, or however, I have resources in my social network to explore changing that. The realistic thinker tends to think in terms of what's possible, what parts of this are possible. The realistic thinker asks appreciative questions such as what's working about this situation. So the inner critic and the realistic thinker that Tara Moore describes are two ways of thinking available to us when we're thinking about decisions. And when we're making decisions, there's two capacities I've located from the way Tara Moore talks about the inner critic and realistic thinking that I think are capacities to cultivate. And the first one is the way we relate to our world or our reality. And the second one is our awareness of how we relate to our world. So what do I mean by that? When our way of relating to the world works for us, like Tara Moore's realistic thinker who's pursuing opportunities and thinking about what's possible, we can parse out what is relevant or irrelevant to making a good decision in a given situation. And also, when we have good awareness of how we relate to our world, so that's the second capacity, like regardless of whether we're relating as the inner critic or the realistic thinker, we know when how we relate to our world is helping us out, and when how we're relating to our world is getting in our way. So one way to look at the way we relate to our world is to ask, one, how have I made decisions in the past? And then, what does this tell me about how I typically go about making decisions and the outcome this will bring me? Two, how has that way of making decisions worked for me or not in my life so far? And another way of asking that is, how credible is my way of making decisions? So what I mean by that is, how reliable is my way of making decisions in terms of the outcomes that it brings me? So what are the results? And therefore, can I trust my way? And thirdly, what does that have to do with how I relate to my world or reality generally? And do I want to change how I'm relating to my world or reality and adopt a new way so that my process of making decisions is working for me? So that's this week's Smart Women and Decisions.